you guys today, but I am going to wait till more people come in because first, I'm just getting my morning started. I'm just going to show you how to clean water. I'm just going to show you my morning routine, and we're going to talk about some crazy stuff today. Obviously, nobody's really here right now, but I'm cleaning up this water. Why? Because it's the only way to get parasites, worms, bacteria, viruses out of water is through the carbon distillation process. Sorry guys, but it's pretty much the only way. You can try to put chemicals in your water to kill certain pathogens, but some of these are pretty nutty. So we start like that. Then, I'm probably gonna be a little weird today, but you know, that's just really mostly my personality anyway. I need to put an earpiece probably in too, so you guys can hear me. That's the way it's going to be. So it's morning. Good morning. Okay. It is morning time and always do my water. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up already. Oh, look at that. This is the water protocol. I'm going to be talking today, I don't know, just for the heck of it, unless other subjects come up. I'm going to be talking about anti-parasitic lifestyle today. And I'm thinking about doing a video. And if you guys are interested in it, let me know, because I will actually show you actual information, actual data. You know me, guys. I'm a data guy. And all data really is just revealing truth. I mean, really, it's, you know, if blueberries are anti-parasitic and there's data, well, it just shows that blueberries happen to be anti-parasitic. See, the water sounds like it might be full. Almost. So trying to do two things at once here, which I'm not typically very good at. But then again, these are very simple things. You know, filling up water jugs and cleaning water. But I'm running it through my obviously my very special carbon distiller, because that gets rid of parasites and worms and bacteria and viruses, and no other water filtration system will do it like this. I know that some claim it, but remember, well, I've seen them test it and it's just not the same, guys. Sorry to give anybody the bad news. Now look, I'm just about the truth. People don't believe it, don't like it. It's okay. You're welcome to move on. So now I'm putting my already clean RO water through the carbon distillation process. And why though? That's the main question here, is it? Why, Hydrogen Man? Why are you so crazy? Why are you so cray-cray? You know? Well, I do have a story, but I have to wait for, let's see. I was thinking about waiting for somebody called Seeking and Being. I was going to be waiting for Ocean's 1111. And who's that other person who was very interested in this information? It was, I know that, was it Northern Yeti? Well, anyway, what I do now before the carbon distillation process is I put one drop, literally just one drop, very Ayurvedic, just one drop, boink. And that is because the carbon distillation process will remove everything, which is what we want. We want to remove all things, except it does end up removing minerals also. But hey, you know, I think that a lot of stuff is just bond to the minerals, and that's what we got to do. And now like I said, we're going to talk about an anti-parasitic lifestyle today. Oh, let's see here. Wow. Good morning, Francois. Good morning, Meredith. Elizabeth Donald says, hi, Greg. I'm new, proud owner of the Lourdes Premium Hydrofix machine. I would like to set up a consultation with you if possible. Well, Elizabeth, you can just simply email me if you're in the United States or Canada. Include your phone number. I can give you a call. If not, then we'll have to communicate some other way. So, but yeah, my email is uprising144k. If you did get the Hydrofix, I recommend watching video 231, 337. Somebody write it down for her there. 396, 397. That's a good start. I mean, there's other videos that are important and good, but those are just kind of crucial in my opinion if you got a Hydrofix and you want to take care of it, because it's going to last a very long time. I mean, I still to this day, my Hydrofixes are still perfect. You know what? I'm thinking about making a new video with all the links. Excuse me, guys. It's a little dry this morning. I'm putting a little lotion here. You know, I was thinking about making a video where I show kind of some updated ways that I take care of the Hydrofix and maybe put links for all the videos that I think anybody should watch if they get a Hydrofix. That might be a good idea. Jiminy Christmas. I need to write that down, because if I don't write it down, guys, I got too much in my head. Can't possibly remember everything. It's impossible. It is impossible. Because although have I'm not like, Mr. Photographic Memory, remember every little thing. And I probably could, but I just I don't like it. It fills my head with stuff, and I'm actually looking for something else. I'm looking for something that requires my head to actually not have anything in it. But with that being said, let's get rolling with the hydrogen smoothie, and I'll share with you guys the anti-parasitic lifestyle, and I'm going to share with you a crazy story. Let's see if Seeking and Being is in here. Let's see, Elizabeth, I've been watching you. Uh-oh, creepy. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody's like, we're all watching you, dude. It's called views. Can you please repeat those video numbers again? 231, 337. You might want to watch 388. And then, of course, 397. And if you want, just for the heck of it, you can watch 396. And that's just the beginning. So I'll try to, I don't know, somebody email me. You know what? Because you want to talk to me, Elizabeth, why don't you email me? And not only email me and say, make a video about new updates about Hydrofix, how to take care of it, blah, 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 with links to all pertinent videos. If you put that in the email, there's my reminder. Maybe I'll try to do it today. I got a lot going on today, which is why I kind of have to hurry. Okay, what are we doing here? Let's see here. Why does my Hydrofix get dirty inside? I only put distilled water and can't figure out where this stuff is coming from. Mr. Bretter. Yes, remember, there is electricity, and that pulls things like dust, and then, bacteria and things start forming. So the simple fact is you have to clean it, But yeah, electricity draws, like I've noticed sometimes the Hydrofix, like literally, I've had ants, like I had an ant problem before. They all go to the Hydrofix. Everything that is alive wants hydrogen. Hydrogen is the source of life, guys. So it's going to go after it. Whether it's tiny little bacteria, everything wants to survive, as far as basic, kind of quote unquote basic things. It's way more complex than that, but that's just kind of the simple answer for right now, So yeah, just make sure to keep it clean. That's why you have to keep it clean, take care of it. You can't just think that just because you're putting distilled water in it, nothing's going to happen, because distilled water, all water can basically go bad. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. Okay, 2 scoops of Purium. Why are we doing Purium? Come on, guys, you should know this by now. This is to overcome nutritional deficiencies because our food doesn't have enough nutrients, and this is an anti-parasitic smoothie, but is also a multivitamin smoothie. I'm also put a little chlorella just because I happen to have some. Gives us all our minerals, all our nutrients. It's like a multivitamin, multi-nutrient, and it fills me up, and it gives me enough fiber to move my bowels and pull out all sorts of garbage out of me, like heavy metals and all that good stuff that everybody was asking about the other day. And flax seeds are extremely good for you. I finally was able to find some at a reasonable price, so I finally got them. Some of them are like crazy expensive, and I was like, nope. And they were in powder form, and I didn't want powder. I want the whole thing. Have you noticed that, guys? Yeah, have you noticed this pattern yet? I like the whole food, so I wanted to get those flax seeds that are actually like whole. So I grind them up, just like my coffee. When I make my coffee, I get the whole bean and I grind it up. And that's how I do things. And you don't have to agree, but that's just how I do it. And that is that. Okay, moving on. You guys ever heard this little song called... No, never mind, I shouldn't get into it. I'm supposed to be telling you about the anti-parasitic lifestyle. Let's get into it, shall we? Oh, wait, I was waiting for Seeking and Being. There was like, oh, please wait, because I might actually delete this video. Let's see, great day. Let's see, where are we? Why does my... Okay, Elizabeth, great. I may have watched already. Lisa says, I definitely would love if you could make that video. Well, there you go. There it is, guys. It is almost a done deal, which means I have to get on it today. I got so many other things to do. I got so many people also emailing me, and good news is I don't have to work a lot today. So then when I don't have to work, and you know what? Finally, too, things are going good with the YouTube thing, and so that is bringing in good stuff. And I will try to help you as much as I can, but I will tell you guys. I should tell you, and there's practically nobody in here listening anyway. But um, don't know how long I'll be able to do this anymore because things are getting quite busy, and well, I'll continue to try. Maybe I'll just take breaks here and there. Who knows? I don't know. But we're supposed to talk about anti-parasitic lifestyle today, and because my life is an anti-parasitic lifestyle. I mean, that's how I live. This is the way I live. And that's just the way it is. I mean, and I didn't even know that that's what I was doing, but I do have a very interesting story, but I just thought that one person would like to hear it. And it wasn't just one person. I believe it's at least 3, 4. I think Diane McKenzie also wanted to hear it. There's some people who really wanted to hear the story. And I've been very hesitant. I didn't want to share it. And this morning, I guess I felt like, you know what? All right, I might share it, but I don't want to do it unless they're here because those are the ones who really want to, like, please, Greg, share the story. And it's going to get really nutty, guys. It's going to get a little crazy. I'm probably going to sound a little crazy, which, I'm not crazy. I will say that. I'm not crazy, but I am a little strange. Like, strange just because I think differently than other people. But, that actually has led me to find, I find things that other people don't find. Let's put it that way. And that's part of my little kookiness, even though I'm very, very, not definitely not pessimistic. What's the other word? I'm very when you don't believe things. What's it called? When you're skeptical. I'm very, very, very skeptical. And even though I'm very open-minded, but the thing is that I've experienced and seen things that I try to deny a lot of them. I'm like, no, that can't have happened. No, I just don't even believe my own eyes. But then, things are different when people have actually witnessed them with me. And that's when things change. I'm like, okay, now we got 2 people. Oh boy. Now that there's 2 people, I can't deny this Looney Tunes thing. And so I gotta obviously be more open-minded and accept the facts, dude. Just accept it. It's like, well, okay. And if I accept it, see, the moment I accept it, then I have to accept other things. I'm like, okay, now I gotta accept the fact that blah, blah, blah. All right, grabbing some stuff here for and this is funny. One of you guys do this if you want. Google, I don't know, Google beets and see if they're anti-parasitic. Somebody do that. Because that's what I'm going to do on this video that I'll make for you guys. And that's a separate one because I probably won't get around to it because I'm going to make that other one. How to care for your hydrofix. Do I just sound like Dracula? Hydrofix. I'm from Transylvania. It's funny, I do all these accents and I'm actually terrible at them. I think I make the same accent for all the voices. Okay, moving on. Let's keep cleaning up the greens here. But yes, I stumbled upon something. I've actually stumbled upon quite a few things, and I've just been, I don't know if it's lucky or, because I always say it's luck. What do they say? Luck favors the ones who work hard. I don't know. Maybe luck favors the ones who are seeking hard. Who knows? All I can say is that there's been some very strange things that I know the world definitely doesn't know about. When I say the world doesn't know about, I mean, we're talking all the internet, guys. I couldn't find anything anywhere. And it's like, am I the only guy? Come on. And that's what makes me feel crazy a little bit. There's like, no way. No way it's just me. Because, you can find just about everything out there. But I did find something in an old book that was thousands and thousands of years old. And that's the one that made me be like, okay, somebody understood somewhat. I usually only like to spin it one time, even though the veggies look a little wet. But okay, let's do it twice. Let's see if anything else actually comes up. All right, let's read your comments. Please share, says Elizabeth. Okay, I'm going to very soon. I'm just waiting for the right people. Have you ever checked the hydrogen water with a parts per million tester? I'm going to buy one to see if any stuff is in the water and I'm drinking. Well, Mr. Better, look, If you're talking about the quality of the water, or are you talking about the hydrogen, But, I've already learned, look, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but remember, I'm actually a very, very detail-oriented guy, which is the reason that I really seem to I like the way Japanese do things because they're extremely detail-oriented also. And most people just aren't. I mean, most people are doing just silliness stuff with hydrogen. It's just like literally, dare I say the word pathetic? I'm not trying to be mean, but in my mind, God, it is pathetic. The things that people are doing with hydrogen. So I don't know if you're talking about water. Like, for example, I already knew carbon distillation would be the way to go because I can. Okay, so I'm going to share a little something about myself. I can see it in my mind's eye. It's like it all makes perfect sense to me. This is the reason that I've come up with all these crazy theories, and then they turn out to be true. I come up with these crazy hypotheses. Some people think I'm crazy. Like there was this guy recently, I came up with this thing and I shared it with him, and he's extremely intelligent. This guy's a UCLA doctor and scientist. And he was talking like I'm just a dummy. He's like, oh, dare, no, it's not going to go anywhere. That's nothing. Well, turned out I was right. And turns out that he was really wrong. And that's what happens all the time. It happens to me quite often. I come up with stuff that even the most intelligent of people just can't seem to wrap their minds around. And I don't get it because the stuff I come up with seems incredibly simple and easy to me. I mean, just really simple. Nothing fantastical. It's not like oh, you're a genius. It's like, no, this is basic. Like, why can't you guys get it? Okay, soak raisins in hydrogen water. So you can check to see if those are anti-parasitic. I'm telling you guys, somebody Google some of these foods because I'm telling you. I'm going to do a whole video about it, so I'll probably just do it anyway. But I've done it before. In fact, I did it before. Yeah, I made a video about a smoothie called the anti-parasitic smoothie, and I went over the ingredients and how I found, of course, that they are anti-parasitic. And I didn't even know I was doing it. See, I was doing it naturally, but I was doing it thinking other things. Okay, walnuts. Why walnuts? Well, guys, not only lots of good nutrition, and I've soaked them, which means they're drawn in water, and we're getting rid of the oxalates on them. Why not? And they're just full of good stuff. I believe in walnuts. I don't remember, but I believe they might be anti-parasitic. I know they're highly anti-cancerous as a whole food. Not they tried to do extracts, they tried to test the oil, they tried to do all these things. It did not work. It had to be the whole food. So, okay, I think I'm gonna have to just share the story. Sorry, seeking and being Northern Yeti. Those are the regulars that are always popping in, and they're like, talk about it. And they're gonna be just, I don't think they're gonna be crushed, but they're gonna definitely be disappointed that they weren't here, which is why I'm kind of trying to wait. So I don't know exactly what you're trying to. Let's see here. Have you ever checked? I don't know exactly what you're trying to look for with this whole parts per million thing. I don't quite get it. So you can explain it to me if you want, but I think in some ways you probably spend better, your energy would be better placed somewhere else, but that's up to you. If you want to go get parts per million stuff, and if you take the cleanest water and you run that to the Hydrofix, it's good stuff. I've seen lab tests on it too. And there's going to be some more data coming out, which I'm not at liberty to say, unfortunately. But boy, this thing is dirty and it's a mess. This ginger. This one's going to take a little bit of time today, people. It's okay though. I was going to say I'm in no hurry, but what is it? It's right, 10:30, 11:30. I guess maybe I am in a little bit of a hurry, not a huge hurry. So, okay, let's just get into it. I'm just going to share with you the story. And hopefully you guys won't judge me. You probably will. It's kind of human tendency for a lot of people. I will tell you before I say it, it's going to sound a little crazy. And you know what? I can't blame you for thinking that because had it not happened to me, I would respond the same way. Because remember, I am a skeptic. And if somebody would have told me, well, actually, somebody did tell me about all this, and I was like, whatever. I wasn't even going to do it. And I was just desperate, and that's why I did it. And then the experience ended up being really, really strange. So much so that I knew that, see, once I know there's something there, once I know there's something to it, I will dive in wholeheartedly and try to figure it out as long as it's in my heart. That's what it's got to be. It's got to be in my heart. Like some people are just like, they really like they're greedy, or I just recently had somebody I know who got screwed financially, which just, I'm so saddened by it. Not just sad that he got screwed financially, but just sad that people will do these things. God, there's so much darkness in the world, and it's like, God, you can't trust anybody. It just sucks. And it makes me so sad because, I just wish everybody was more trustworthy. But I understand. It's a crazy world. So anyway, on with the story, dude. Hurry up. Um, yeah, so by the way, I'm not gonna like rush through it. So hopefully if you only have like a few minutes, I'm gonna take my time, give a little detail, stuff like that. But in the end, as you guys know, I was sick. Oh yeah, so yeah, please try not to judge. If you don't believe me, it's cool. It really doesn't bother me, but I was gonna share this. I'm still debating whether to wait for the people who've been wanting to hear this one. Because I'm also debating whether I'm going to leave this video up once I share it. Just makes me sound cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's what it makes me sound like. I don't like to sound crazy, but sometimes the truth is crazy. And there's plenty of people out there who believe in my opinion, way too Looney Tunes type of things. Although I'm a very open-minded guy. But sometimes it just goes too far. Gotta have balance in all things, guys. Balance in life, balance in all things. All right, well, anyway. So I was sick, as everybody knows. I was getting pretty darn desperate. And somebody had told me about this cleanse. And I'm like, you know how many cleanses I've done? You know how many cleanses I've tried? I'm like, no more cleanses, please, no more. I didn't want to do another cleanse. And this one was extremely expensive. And I think I mentioned it like briefly before or whatever. But this is why we're talking about the anti-parasitic lifestyle. If you really want to know why I live this way, and some people are like, yeah, you may live this way, but how do you keep up the pace? Well, when you begin to realize the truth of things, like for example, the truth about your water or whatever, then you keep up that pace of cleaning the water and living a certain way. Living this way for me is not really actually hard. It used to be. Oh my gosh, I thought I'd never be able to live this way. Now look at me. Now people are like, dude, you're crazy. How do you make those smoothies every single day? How do you not eat, stuff that has worms and parasites in it? Oh boy. So, give me 1 second here, guys. Make sure where we're at here. Wow, we got a lot of people. Not much thumbs up, but some people are in here. Let's see. Oh, Northern Yeti's here. All right, brother. I'm just gonna share it. I don't even know if you're a guy or a girl, Mr. Yeti. Please share. Okay, I'm going to. I have checked with the hydrogen water, blah, blah, blah. I'm here. Elizabeth says, what's the number one video you just mentioned where you talked about the parasitic vegetables? It's anti-parasitic vegetables. And I don't remember the number of the video. You just type in anti-parasitic smoothie or something. Oh, there's Diane. And Northern Yeti says, always like your info. Okay, well, I'm going to share it today, dude. I don't know why. I just woke up and thought, just going to do it. I may delete the video, though, so because it's going to get really weird. Tell me why you soak the walnuts. Because the walnuts are dry. And when you bring in dry food, it pulls water out of your colon. And your colon needs a lot. Your GI system needs a lot of water to digest meal. So when you put it in water, you can get rid of oxalates, but it can also pull water into the nuts. So they actually brings water into your system rather than robs you of water. Elizabeth says, no, speak now. All right, I am. Here we go. Northern Yeti says, I am a male. He says, male. You identify as male, Northern? No, let's not go down that road, right? Everybody's going to get their panties in a bunch. All right, so this is what happened. So now that at least Northern Yeti made it. I know Seeking and me wanted to hear this one, but oh well, some other time. So I go and do this, I've been talked into doing this cleanse. It's like, you gotta do this cleanse, it's gonna help you heal, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, God, no, I don't wanna do another one. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it was very, very expensive. And I'm like, I don't wanna spend that kind of money because I was, when you're sick and you can't work and you're running out of money, it's just, I didn't wanna do it. And honestly, the things that I was being told, I didn't really believe it. I thought, oh God, another one of these foo-foo stories. There's so many foo-foo stories, guys. Just, And I did share part of this already, so some of this might sound familiar, Mr. Northern Yeti. Oh, wow, thanks for all the thumbs up. Everybody's now popping those in. Cool. So this is going to explain why. This story will explain why I live and anti-parasitic lifestyle. And then I'll probably do a video in more detail about what that anti-parasitic style entails, what it means, yada, yada, yada. Okay, let's put a little hydrogen water in here, which, by the way, appears to be anti-parasitic also. See, everything I do. And I cleaned the water this morning from parasites, worms, bacteria, viruses. So everything that I practically do, guys, and then I avoid the things that bring a lot of these parasites into the body. So, okay, so let's get on with the story, shall we? So I go to this place. It's a very special place. It's actually quite gorgeous and beautiful and whatever. It's way out, super far away from everything. And what's next? Let's go with beets. So I go out there, and what am I missing? What am I missing? And of course, the lady is very sweet, and she's like, "I'm gonna do this cleanse, and you got to be prepared, and you got to have you don't have to, but she's like, I really suggest journaling everything." And I'm thinking, journal everything? I hate journaling. I'm like, what am I gonna journal? Today I feel hungry because there's gonna be like fasting or very little food and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. She goes, no, I mean, certain things might happen or probably will happen. She basically was implying that certain things would happen. And she's like, and I want you to write them down. I want you to document them. And then she was very curious. She's like, and I want you to share everything with me. So she doesn't do this job just for money or just for whatever. I could tell this woman was very much into her craft. She cared deeply about what she was doing, and she wanted to know people's experiences, almost like she was like it was an experiment. Like, this is an experiment, and I want to hear what's going on. And I'm thinking, something. Check out these leaves. I'm almost debating what I should do with them. Maybe I'll cook them. I usually put them in the smoothie, but I think this time there's not a ton of room, and I'll probably cook them. So anywho, so I'm like, all right, I'll journal, whatever. So we start the cleansing process. It's supposed to go for 10 days. I'll explain later that mine actually went for 11 days, and I'll explain what the heck happened. But the point is, and again, this doesn't explain why this is so important. So I go do my first day or whatever, and one of the things they do is there are certain foods that are used in a very specific manner, coordinated by very specific days. It's like, if you really look at what they're doing, I literally was like, who figured this out if it's true? Now, after my experience, I'll tell you right now, I spent ridiculous amounts of time and money figuring out exactly how they did this because it was just too, dare I say, magical. It was like sci-fi kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. And, it was too important. I even thought about actually doing as like a job. I was inspired just as much as she seemed to be, because it was just so ridiculously impressive. And I even went and got all the equipment that's needed. I mean, the whole kitchen caboodle, guys. You know what? Maybe I'll go with a little less beets today, just for the heck of it. Make sure not to chop my finger off in front of everybody live. Man, chopped his finger off on YouTube live. Totally gruesome. So I do the first cleanse. Feels a little strange. Feels like they do use water in certain ways. And I don't know. I just felt like, okay, a little weird. Second time, started feeling a little bit like, well, this is what this is, I guess, what it felt like. When you're getting cleansed, now this is a particular thing that they're using water, and they have this tube. And this tube, everything that is coming out of you comes out almost like a drain, and it goes through this tube, and you can see everything that comes out of you. And she even had, I'll go into this in a little more detail, but there was even physicians who had seen some of the stuff coming out, and they're like, that's just not possible. I've heard that before with hydrogen. It's like, that's just not possible, and so that's why some people even came to visit her, and the doctors even, and they're like, they saw it for themselves. Because I'm the same way. I would have been extremely skeptical what is inside our body. I even have some pictures, guys, and if I could put it in the thumbnail later, but it is gross. You can't believe the things that are in people. But this is where I'm going to get into this, because it's going to get crazy. So if anybody likes a crazy ride, stick around. And if you don't, I suggest you might want to leave, because this is just going to bore you to death. So I'm doing this thing, and the weirdest part was I start feeling a little uncomfortable. And I'm sitting on this table and whatever, going through this process. And I'm feeling this like itchy kind of like, I don't feel very comfortable here. Almost like, kind of like when I go to the mall. I hate being at the mall. I just, whatever. And I'm feeling this little feeling. Okay, not the one next. Should I be telling you guys ingredients? Do you care? Let's see here. Mr. Bretter says, my meter got broken when it still worked. I checked my distilled water and it was 0, but I never checked the hydrogen water to see if it was still at 0. I'm concerned about the purity. Actually, Mr. Bretter, God, I wish I could tell you, dude, because there's something that I really want to tell you. The company slipped up by accident and told me something when I was talking to somebody there. And then I was so excited about it. I'm like, I got to release this info. I wanted to make like a video right away. And they just, I wouldn't say they got upset, but they're like, please don't do that because, I get excited and they're like, please don't do that. Some new information. All I'm going to tell you, Mr. Bretter, is that something's going to come out very soon. And I think it'll put your mind at ease for sure. But all I'll say is that I wouldn't worry about that. I wouldn't worry about that. But you can go ahead and get a TDS meter. Go for it. It's not really the proper way of doing things, to be honest. TDS meters are not a proper way of measuring impurities, but you can do it if you want to. If it makes you feel comfortable. Whatever you want, dude. Whatever you want. Okay. So I'm feeling this weird feeling, and then I start having a vision. And I'm like, okay. And with the vision, all right, before I keep going, somebody else commented. Elizabeth says, I have a NASA full house water system and a separate carbon filter tank and RO under my kitchen tank. Do I still need a distiller? Yeah. Watch my video 388, I believe. Of course, you have to understand no filter will really be able to do the job. Do I need to explain why? I mean, I did on video 380, but I'll just say very briefly, look. Anytime you're running water through a filter, the filter is getting dirty. So like, let's say every 50 gallons, like think about it. Let's say they tell you, oh, this filter will filter out 5,000 gallons. And I've done this before. I mean, you're 2,000 gallons in and that water's starting to, not taste so great. And so what happens is that filter is continually getting dirty, which means the quality of your water is basically going down probably every 100 gallons to 200 gallons or whatever. And not only that, none of those filters filter everything. Like when I'm all done with this story, whatever, if you want to stick around, I'll show you the third-party lab testing, but I already showed it on video 388. I researched how nature does it. Now look, maybe people will disagree, whatever. You could call it, I mean, even God himself, right? Because that's not what the Bible says, that God created the heavens and the earth. So if God created the earth, and I'm saying if, right? Whatever, guys, whatever you want to believe. So I don't like to get into religion too much, but it does bring the science into it. I started observing planet Earth, and I observe planet Earth a lot. That's where I get a lot of my ideas also in regards to my health and different things. Well, how does planet Earth clean water? Well, planet Earth utilizes the hydrologic system, which starts with hydrogen. Basically, the sun hits the ocean. As it gets hot, the water begins to literally ascend into the sky. Now, there's a huge correlation between ascension and purity and blah, blah. I probably shouldn't talk about this. The point is that it cleans the water to the highest degree, guys. That's what it basically means. Okay, and by the way, I'm activating the natto right now. This is how you activate it. Stir it 100 times or more. And that's what really truly cleans it. Parasites cannot rise up. Worms cannot rise up. Basically, no impurity can truly rise up to the heavens when it ascends. Only the purest of the pure. And that's why when it comes down as rain or snow, there's ancient scriptural writings that say things, even in Buddhist writings, it's pure as a driven snow, pure as white as snow. Because guess what? Snow and rain is distilled water. Now, granted, it's going to be dirty because our atmosphere is so dirty these days. But you can do the process with a machine. And that's what I do. And I got the lab test, and I already knew, look, when they came out with the lab test, I knew what it was going to come out like because I understand these things already. All the lab tests have done is proven what I already kind of knew. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm 98% sure and I need a lab test. Sometimes I'm like, I'm 99 point. I always leave a little room for error, so I might say 99% rather than 100. But to be quite honest with you guys, I always observe my track record and see if I'm wrong or right. And I've been doing that for a long time, and I know my track record now. And my track record's like quite good. I mean, I don't like to say that I'm right almost all the time, but yeah, typically I'm right? More often than not. That's been my observation. I observe other people's track records too. Kind of embarrassing because I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or name them right now, but I've observed people not being right quite often. And I'm like, have you not observed your track record yet? That's what I tell people. This is the way my brain works, guys. This is just the way that it is. So moving on. Hopefully, I didn't lose you there. Let's see. Well, I don't even care. I mean, honestly, if you guys don't want to listen to the story, I don't even feel like I need to share it. But I thought some people might like it. Okay. Elizabeth says, I am concerned about the oxygen taken out of by this oxygen. That's hilarious. Does the Hydrofix put oxygen back in the water? I would think so. Well, first of all, distillation doesn't remove any oxygen from the water, really. The other issue would be that the Hydrofix will not put oxygen in the water either. I think you're thinking of the wrong things. I think you're probably, if you're thinking hydrogen, that would be different. The Hydrofix does put hydrogen. And water is H2O, so it is basically made of, 33.33333% oxygen. So, yeah, nature does it that way. That's why I do it that way, and the lab results back it up. It's clean water. Now, if you want to drink any other kind of water, you go right ahead. It doesn't bother me one bit. You do whatever you want. You go, girl. Drink that tap water or drink your reverse osmosis carbon filtered water. It's not like it's going to be bad. I mean, it is better. It's great that you did carbon filters. It's great that you did RO. That's all great, and you don't have to be, it's not about even being paranoid, by the way. Some people are like, dude, you're so paranoid. Dude, I am a man of facts. The fact is, nothing cleans water like distillation and carbon, the combination of those. Now, you already have all that stuff, so you actually could just get the distiller and you don't need to install the carbon part, which is what I do. I actually have an RO system here also, and I just put the RO water into my system to finish the purification process and get the cleanest water pretty much known to man, in my opinion. No claims here. No whatever. I don't know. I wish I could blah, blah, blah. Okay. Amy says, does distillery get rid of the pharmaceuticals that make it into our water? Also, do you use tap water in your distiller? Absolutely, in my opinion, yes, it does get rid of the pharmaceuticals, which the ones that are mainly found in water, if anybody's ever done their research, is antibiotics, antidepressants, and women's contraception, which is very dangerous because antidepressants mess with your head. Women's contraception messes with your hormones. And what was the last one? Antibiotics really screw with your gut, kill a lot of beneficial gut bacteria that would be a bad idea to use quite regularly and eventually can make you resistant to antibiotics. And yes, that's actually another reason why I distill the water. I don't know if you guys are getting this, but distillation gets rid of everything. Why do you think that's what I do? Because I've had a strong gut feeling. See, here we go again, where I was actually shown to be correct. For a long time, I'm like, look, there's stuff in our water that even I don't know about. There's stuff in our water that nobody knows about. And I just knew it. It's just so simple because it's so basic, right? It's so basic. Of course, there's stuff in our water that we don't know about, stuff that's no good. Well, then what comes out later? And this is many years ago. Eventually, it comes out, oh my God, there's PFAS in our water. Yeah, duh, super bad for you. Oh, it turns out there's pharmaceuticals in our water. Yep, super bad. Should have known. And that's why I don't use conventional water filters. I mean, I do use them. By the way, I do have conventional water filters, and that's okay. But if I really, really, really want the cleanest water, there is no other way. Carbon distillation is the way. Basically distillation, but I say carbon also because if you want to use tap water, which somebody's asking about, yes, you can use tap water. The only thing is, if you're going to use tap water, the systems that I recommend also have an additional carbon filter. I mean, goodness gracious, I guess I could show you. I think people are more interested in this filtration of water. That's cool. I'm cool with talking about that. I'll let the other one go. But this is a little thing that you slide underneath, and there's an additional carbon filter in here. And yes, you can put tap water in there, and it will make tap water pristinely clean. Okay, let's see here. Elizabeth, the water system guy told me that. I agree. Maybe he meant it makes it flat. I'm ordering distiller today, just confirming. right now. Well, Elizabeth, if you want the best one, if you're in the US, if you're not in the US, you probably shouldn't order this. It'll be too expensive to ship wherever you're at. But if you're in the US, the best ones, at least the best ones that I found. It doesn't, can you go buy one somewhere else? Go for it. But I'm just telling you what I personally recommend, because later on when it comes up, people are gonna be like, hey, why didn't you tell me? mypurewater.com. That's the one that I'm using. That's the one that I have. I like them because they're American made, high quality stainless steel. They're better than the Chinese stuff. And at mypurewater.com, if you want a discount code, I actually have one, which is uprising144. And so if you want that, and they have like 4 or 5 different options of carbon distillers. You pick based on the options that you want. They're all going to make the same quality of water. It's all about options. It's like a car. Any car will get you from point A to point B, but maybe some has a moonroof or leather or whatever. So if you want to do that, very cool. And if you want to support the channel, it does help when you use the code. I mean, I don't get a lot or anything, but I get a little something there. And it helps support the channel. Okay, what's your opinion on those ionized water machines? In my opinion, remember, this is my opinion. Now remember, my opinions are based on important facts, but I'll just say, in my opinion, they're crap. I do not want to drink water from directly ionized. I do not want it. No, I do not like the Kangen machines. I do not like any of the machines out there that are just those conventional water ionizers. Like I said, in the world of ionization, it's actually kind of it's a very tricky world to navigate. It took me forever to literally understand it and figure it out. And clearly, you guys know what I like, and there's a reason that I like it. I mean, the Hydrofix doesn't actually ionize or electrolyze the water that you consume. But yeah, direct electrolysis, and then you have to hook them up to your sink, which is another pain in the rear, because then they want you to use the water filters that they supply, which, guess what? Not good enough. Those water filters will not make the cleanest water, full saturation of hydrogen, in my opinion. I mean, all this stuff. None of them are lab tested and certified, no matter what they say, because I already done my research. No company lab tests and certifies every single machine. It's completely insanity. It's too much work. Nobody would do it, except what surprised the heck out of me, the Hydrofix company does do it. And I was like, that's crazy. And they're like, yeah, well, that's why they're actually the one used by medical professionals in Japan, because they know it's all lab tested, and it comes with some certification in Japan. It shows you where it was tested, all the results, I mean, everything. And so that is why they are the best. And I only like the best. Well, at least when it comes to my health and my body, guys. I'm telling you, the body is very, very special. I never realized how special it was until that cleanse I was telling you about that I haven't finished, and that's okay. Okay. So those ionized water machines, yeah, I don't like that. Or those little bottles, I don't like those either. Elizabeth, what's the name of the distiller company? www.mypurewater.com. One drop of what? Please show the labels. I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. KJDF 92109. That seems like I don't know what that is. And I don't know what drops you're talking about. One drop of something. Um, yeah. And maybe I should be more cautious. Maybe I should share this story. Now I'm starting to be hesitant because I've had a lot of trolls and all they do is seek out to hurt me. And, you know, here I'm trying to do something good. Can you believe that? You know how much I get attacked, guys? It's unbelievable. It really is. I've even had people who've known me and even other shows that I've been on, they're like, I've never seen the attacks that I get when I have you on. It's unreal. And they said, and you're so small. Like literally, I mean, it's not like I have a million followers or anything. And for the smallest guy to get attacked that much, and you know what? It hurts. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It hurts. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I've oftentimes just been like, what am I doing this? I need to just move on, do my thing, because that's what I'm doing. I mean, all I'm doing right now is doing my thing. You just happen to be watching. That's all. This is what I do every morning, guys, with or without you guys here. This is what I do for my body for certain reasons that were going to be remain nameless, but I was going to share some of it today. Was yada yada yada. But yeah, am I sounding crazy yet? Dude, you're crazy, man. You're cray cray. I'm definitely not crazy. Really? The guy who makes smoothies and wants to treat his body right, I'm the crazy one. Yeah, man. You're so crazy. Okay, almost out of room here. The big question is, I did put raisins, I did put a banana. Do I want to put another banana? I do have so many of them, and they're probably going to go bad. You know, I wasn't going to, but I think I'm just going to. I don't like my smoothies too sweet. But to be honest, I'm happy either way. You know, that's been the secret of happiness for me. Find gratitude in all things. Honestly, I'm just grateful I have electricity right now. I have an awesome distiller that makes me the cleanest water. I have all these organic, wonderful fruits and veggies that some farmer out there worked very hard to grow the way that he did, which I greatly appreciate. Life, it's not so bad. I'm walking. My eyes work. My brain works. I spent a lot of years trying to get this body right. And I am grateful. And I show it my gratitude by putting the wonderful things into it. I'm not a garbage machine, guys. No garbage in. No soda pop, no deep fried food, no processed food. Only the best. Why? Because I love it. When you love something, that's what you do. You know, if I would date someone and I would do something for them, like if I made a smoothie for them, I would give them the better one, you know, if there was two of them or something, you know, and that's what love does. You always want the best for others and yourself, you know, and when I mean you want the best for you, it doesn't mean you screw other people so that the best for you. I just recently saw that with somebody and it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. When are people ever going to learn? I don't know. Humans, what do you do? They're tempted in the face of money. I get it. The system makes people like that sometimes, but then again, you know, it's hard to understand unless you've seen certain things. I've seen things, you know. I've seen things that change my whole outlook on life. What do you do? Once it changes you, it's changed forever. There is no going back. Not for someone like me. I will never, ever go back. Some people might be like, you might. It's like, not likely. You don't know me very well. All right, next magic ingredient, minerals. And sorry, I'm supposed to be answering people's questions here. Okay. What did you drop in the water? Minerals. Northern Yeti, don't feed the trolls. It's intentional. They don't even believe what they say. You know, I believe you, Northern Yeti. Elizabeth says, Greg is using trace minerals to add to the water. That's right. I put just one drop of water to stabilize because distilled water is a little unstable. So I put one little drop of minerals, and then this one I'm adding more than one drop because putting minerals in the smoothie, combining with the fibers from the fruits and vegetables, it all activates. It all works together synergistically. As crazy as that sounds, because I know it sounds crazy, there is more data coming out. Like I said, turned out I was right. And they've literally seen it do amazing things for the body. So all it did was confirm what I kind of already knew, but I wasn't 100% certain on that one. But now that the data's come out, I would say I'm like, you know, a good 98, 99%. Let's fire this up, shall we? See if it activates. Okay, I'll be back to answer more questions, add a few more magic ingredients, and I'm going to go dump this compost. All right, hopefully that blender doesn't fall off the counter while I'm dumping the compost. Beautiful day. Happy days are here again. Happy days. Happy. Oh, I like that song. Because I'm happy. Come along and dance with me. I'm happy. Okay. All right, we're going to blend it one more time. I'll answer all your questions. I know you guys are asking. Keep on asking. I will get to them. Let's cut these with a little hydrogen clean water that I will not test with the TDS meter. And that's okay. And if you want to test it, that's okay too. Whatever you want to do, it's all up to you. I will tell you one thing, though. The Hydrofix will expose the quality of your water. Forgot to tell you that, Mr. Breder. I should have told you that. That would help you a lot. But I can share that story later. All right. So what's the next magic ingredient? These guys. Magic ingredient. This is the way I live. All right, that's not good. I think that's just going to have to be good enough. And if it isn't, I guess we'll throw it back in the blender. So the secret is, after you cut it with a little bit of hydrogen water, you only pour, wow, this thing is full, just the way I like it. We're going to only pour halfway. Why halfway? Because I'm crazy. No, I'm just kidding. I should be the crazy guy today. Dude, you're crazy. Not crazy, dude. There's a method to the madness. All right, so you go halfway because we're going to put magic ingredient number 1. Or, you know what? Let's go with magic ingredient. Yeah, okay, let's go with this one. D3, K2. Why? Guys, I will never live without vitamin D. Some people are like, what, you're going to take it forever? It's like, well, you're going to, 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you going to eat forever? Do you need nutrients forever? The answer is yes, you need nutrients forever. Sorry about the bad news, guys. Some things you just need forever, like clean water. Boron, good for the brain. Super good for the brain. Super good for the ligaments. I like to keep my brain sharp. Super good for sex hormones. Why? Well, because everybody wants to have good level of sex hormones because they get going lower as you get older, and you got to keep them at the right levels. Otherwise, you get moody, or God knows what else. All right, last one today. And they're all ionic. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. Read the label really, really closely. Ionic. Why? Because that's the second best way to do it. There's only one better way, and the one better way is food. Hence the reason this smoothie, guys. There's already food-based zinc in there, but I'm going to put this because I just actually happen to find the bottle in my home, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I should use this stuff up. So why not? Let's just do 3 pumps today, shall we? 1 and 2 and 3. And I feel like a workout video. 1 and 2, like those old 80s videos with the whatever. All right. Okay, and let's finish it up by stirring it up. Come on and stir it up. And somebody wants, I think, to hear the rest of this story, and I'll get to it, I promise. Just trying to finish this up here. I guess I can keep going about the story until I read your comments. So what happened is I felt very uncomfortable on that table. I was getting these visions along with emotions. And at this point, and look, I'm not going to fight it. See, that's the other thing. If I feel something, instead of trying to deny it and be like, oh, I don't feel nothing. Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to truly embrace the opportunity that is being given to me at that moment. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see where this leads. And so, yeah, a lot of childhood visions, things that were hurtful. And then all of a sudden, boom, like something just came out of me and it went down that tube where I could see it. And I kid you not, it felt like something just unjacked from me, like almost like the Matrix was unplugging from me. It unplugged, and guys, my mind went silent. Sound of silence. It felt like just peace inside my head. I didn't realize that there was so much noise in there. And sometimes you don't realize until you don't have something, kind of like a loving partner when they leave and you're like, oh, I didn't realize what I had until they were gone. Or hydrogen's kind of similar, actually. If you use hydrogen regularly and then you stop, you're like, oh my God. Like my mom, that was funny because my mom didn't believe in the hydrogen. And then when she started using it, the moment she wouldn't have it for a while, she would like super miss it. She goes, oh my God, I miss my hydrogen. So anyway, so this thing like unjacked for me. And by the time I was done with this, and that was just one day or 2 days of this cleansing. So there was more to come, but I'm just kind of giving you the process of what happened. Of course, I go home, like she said, and I go and I write in the journal, but I just felt so calm. It was a perfect time to meditate. Most people have a very hard time with true meditation. They try, and I know they try, as I have tried. But if you really are able to truly do what the body was intended to do in regards to things like meditation, I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling you I speak of that which I know. Meaning, I didn't read it in a book. Nobody told me. I actually did it, and I experienced it, and it is mind blowing. There is something there. There is a God, and it is amazing, and changes your life. And there's more, though. There's more to come. There's more to come. It's not just what you think. Not even close, guys. The reality, which people are not really seeing at this time, and that's okay. I don't judge it. I usually don't talk about it, actually. I can't believe I'm talking about it right now. It's probably for Northern Yeti. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's special. And that's why I live the way that I live. And that's why I live the anti-parasitics lifestyle. And that's what gives me part of the energy, the drive that it takes to continue down this road. You know, because people are like, I can't believe it. How can you go without eating meat forever? It's like, well, it's because, well, meat's dirty. It's full of parasites, full of weird stuff, bacteria and stuff, and it's stuff I can prove. We're not talking about things like, oh, that's just your opinion. No, clear as day data. And that's okay though. I'm not going to judge anybody for doing that. And that, if they choose to do it, it's fine. It doesn't bother me. And I certainly don't try to push my views on anybody because I just don't need to. Nor do I want to. It's such a waste of my energy. I don't care about convincing other people. I know what I've seen. I know what I felt. And I know why I do the things that I do. And just because the world doesn't understand it, doesn't bother me one bit, really. Be quite honest with you guys. But let's go on with your questions and maybe I'll get into a little more detail. Next secret ingredient, hemp hearts. You guys remember hemp hearts? Super highly nutritious. One of the most densely nutritious foods on the planet. Which planet do I speak of? Not Mars. Planet Earth, guys. Planet Earth. A beautiful planet, may I say so much so. It's like, dude, you're crazy. What's going on with this guy? I don't know. I'm going to take my earpiece out, though. Hopefully you guys don't mind. Yay. I feel free now. Okay. Let me have my breakfast, and I guess I'll answer your guys' questions. I should probably adjust this so I can read the screen a little better. I think that's about good for me. All right, let's see. Greg, can you show? I appreciate what you are sharing. Okay, where are we at here? Greg, don't feed. Okay, here we go. Elizabeth. Greg is using trace minerals. Thank you, Elizabeth, for helping me on that. I appreciate it. Where was the cleanse at? Gerson Center? No, definitely not Gerson Center. Looks like somebody's asking what I'm using, so I'm gonna show it. Why? Very important for the body not to be deficient in minerals. Okay. This particular place is actually in Hawaii, in the middle of the Pacific. I even asked this woman, I'm like, how did you come up with this? Like, there's no way you come up with this. She didn't. She learned it from someone, and I'm like, who came up with this? You know what the craziest part is? I kept wondering, who came up with this? That's what I kept wondering. And eventually, I found some of it in a book that's over 2,000 years old. I found it in this friggin' book, guys. You're not even gonna believe who was talking about it. Here's the craziest part. Who was talking about this particular cleanse? And this was many years later. I discovered this many years later. There's more to that story. I haven't finished it, but it was Jesus. It was Jesus talking about this particular cleanse and how to do it for people. It's unbelievable. It just lined up so many things for me. What? Jesus? Serious? I probably would have thought it was a bunch of nonsense, to be quite upfront with you guys. But after I experienced what I experienced, I couldn't think it's nonsense. I'd already lived it. I knew it was real. Okay. Next one, Deborah. What did you just put in that smoothie? You had to stir it to activate it. That's natto, N-A-T-T-O. I use the whole food, but within natto is a special enzyme called nattokinase. I call it nattokinase. Very special for you, but it also has vitamin K, a lot of protein, all sorts of good stuff, guys. Thought I heard a noise. Okay, Moving on. Rich Savage. I appreciate what you are sharing. Ignore the trolls. Thank you, brother. Rick or Rich, good to see you in here. I don't think I've seen you in here before. Elizabeth Dundas says, Greg, can you show the trace mineral label? Sure. Well, if you want to see which ones they are, go to YouTube and type in something like how to mineralize distilled water. You will find one of my videos. And when you click on the video, I have links in the comment area and description area somewhere to lead you right to the ones that I use and recommend. And if you use the link, I think I get like 80 cents, 60 cents. I mean, I don't really get almost anything out of it, but everything helps support the channel. It's more for like the algorithm and stuff. Is that long enough? Did I do it long enough? Okay. I also have this one. This one just has more salt. I prefer this, to be honest. This one's also more expensive. Usually the stuff I like is more expensive because usually it's the best. Okay, that's how it goes. You get what you pay for. Elizabeth says, the label is blue and the brand is called Trace Minerals. Diane McKenzie says, can you please finish your story? Thanks. I will. Elizabeth says, Greg, please tell the story. All right, I will. Lisa says, ignore the trolls. You're great. We can all be crazy together. Maybe. So Diane McKenzie said, so you had a parasite come out. Yeah, I had more than a parasite come out. What I basically learned, and I'll share with you. Okay, Elizabeth says, I missed the type name of the cleanse. I'm sorry, I'm at work. Could you repeat? I'm doing the liver and gallbladder cleanse. Andreas amortization. I know, there's all these clowns out there sharing, you know. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say clowns. I'm sure there's great people out there. My apologies. It's just that everybody under the sun thinks they're either a healer or a doctor or whatever these days. And somebody just called me yesterday. They're like, oh yeah, I'm doing this protocol. And they're spending a ton of money on all these products. And I'm like, I mean, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but it's like, you don't need all that stuff. Life can be so much simpler and cheaper. One of my friends recently paid like a bunch of money to learn how to do urine therapy. I'm like, dude, I could have taught you that for free based on data. And most people are just making stuff up. The only data I've ever found was from Japan. I always thought it was a bunch of hogwash, but actually there is data and it does appear to be somewhat legitimate. Maybe not what everybody thinks it is, but you know. This is tasty. This is good today. Loving it. All right, so moving on. So what came out of me? So here's the thing, guys. I'm not going to pontificate too much on this, but I will say this is what happens. There's two things that happen. When you have something traumatic, and this is the visions that were coming up, everything that was coming up in my childhood and all these things, they were traumatic things. And I believe you've all suffered some trauma in your life. If there's one of you out there, which there's only, excuse me, there's only 19 people in here, so probably not a lot of people to question, but if one of you has never gone through trauma, please comment. And what I mean, and don't misunderstand, what I mean by trauma is literally anything that makes you kind of like for example, car accident. Somebody rear ends you and you're like, oh, you tense up. Somebody, you know, goes to hit you or whatever, just something terrible. And see, this is interesting. Just started trying to get into the story. Now everybody's leaving. It's either making me think if I should not share it or if it's better to share now. So there's actual scans that prove this. When you have something traumatic within your GI system in your colon, it will literally tighten up for a moment and you'll get pockets of little fecal matter, little worms. Remember, everything moving through your system, you have to understand that life is movement, okay? A dead horse lays there. A horse that's alive is moving, including their blood, their organs, you know, everything's moving. Elizabeth's trying to give me homework. It's funny how much people want to tell me what to do, especially, I mean, which is fine. I'm not trying to be mean by saying it that way. It's fine. What you're mentioning, I'm already well aware of it, by the way. So I could read about it, but I already know about it. So, and there's a specific technique that is better than 99% of what people use what you're saying, because the whole gallbladder flush and all that, there's kind of a wrong way to do it, and the majority of people are doing it wrong. And I learned the right way through experience, through research, and through some professionals that were taught by other people. And it's actually ancient. Yeah, you can defend your cleanse. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, okay? I think it's great. I think it's great. I think it's great. Do your thing. Okay. I'm not into defending things, just so you guys know. I don't really care. People can believe whatever they want to believe. That's exactly what I'm talking about, actually. I have no need to try to either convince anybody, whatever. I'm just going to go on with this story because I think that's what the people are waiting for. I'm just guessing. So you get these pockets and they don't move. So they stay there like stagnant water. It gets dirty. It gets gross. And there's trapped memories and you hold on to them and your body feels them. And you walk around, you know, you think like me, I was the kind of guy who just, dare I say, just kind of ignore, you know, like, now Elizabeth says, if it doesn't work, could you please tell me the right way so I don't waste my time? I thought you were defending your cleanse, girl. Oh my goodness. I don't think, I mean, Elizabeth, I would answer your question, except I'm under the impression that everybody here probably wants to finish this story and then you and I can talk later or whatever, or I can talk after this. So things get trapped in the body and these emotions get trapped and they really do affect you in the long term. And so, and then there's these parasites. They have like a hook, and literally they'll hook into you. And even when you're trying to cleanse, they're just like sitting there like if water, you know, is going like this, and you know they're just holding on for dear life. And when they finally unhook or break, like I said, when it comes out, you feel almost like I don't want to say liberation, but partial liberation of your mind. You feel like you're slowly, you know what it felt like? I feel like if you have a country and somebody took over a little tiny town and you're like, you don't even notice it. And little by little by little, and you're not noticing it because it's so gradual, kind of like aging, it's just gradual. And eventually, it's pretty much got almost a whole country and it's manipulating everything. And you just can't even see it, and then all of a sudden you feel like, why do I feel so lost? Why do I feel so unfulfilled? Why am I so unhappy? Like you don't even know what happened anymore. It just kind of happened, right? So things are about to get really weird, Northern Yeti. I can't believe I'm going to share this. I'm not sure if I'm going to yet. I'm considering it. Your gut is your second brain, says Mimria. And you're absolutely right, Mimria. Absolutely connected the brain to the gut. And this is why I put what science has shown to be the best for the gut, including this ingredient right here. Hydrogen's amazing for the gut. I mean, just ridiculous. Like, who is it? I got a physician asking me for help because they can't seem to fix their gut issues. And I'm like, that's easy. Fixing the gut's easy. Like, what am I doing wrong? And then they're doing a bunch of stuff wrong. Anyway. So I'm going through this process. And after day 7, and this is probably going to answer your question, Elizabeth. By day 7 is when the body is now ready for the gallbladder flush. And the reason is because your GI system, when you do a gallbladder dump and a liver dump, if there's stuff through your GI, like those pockets I was talking about, you literally, and look, I wouldn't have believed this, but I've done it more than once. I know it's real. You dump all these toxins and they start getting stuck in your GI as they're trying to come out, but on the way out, they get stuck in places. And I mean, they're all over your GI system. And guys, they start leaching into your blood and you start feeling so sick. You're like, oh God, I feel so sick, and nauseous. And it's not normal because the lady, again, she taught me all these things. She said, you're going to feel this way. Come to me first thing in the morning. And I go, first thing in the morning. And she does the irrigation, the part of the cleanse. Yeah, and see, there you go. The book says 6 days. See, and that's pretty decent. 7, sometimes even 8, but whatever the case is, it depends on how you're preparing the body for this dump. Because I know a lot of people who don't prepare the body, bad idea. Don't even do it. Because all you're gonna do is release the stuff that was kind of in a place and it's gonna leach through your blood. Hydrogen is also extremely important for all those free radicals. But I go to this lady, she starts irrigating my bowels with the water, which is basically an open system type of colon cleansing. You have to use extremely clean water because you're bypassing the liver when you put water in your cannuli, all right? All that stuff, guys. Northern Yeti, this one's for you. Dude, you wouldn't believe, God, I wish I would have taken video footage, the stuff that came out of me. They look like they're about this size, and they look like, what was that stuff, that bubble tea? Bubble tea, those balls are made of pistachio? Pistachio? No. Well, I don't know what, have you guys ever heard of bubble tea? They're made of something. They're like balls of jelly, all right? Tapioca, thank you, Alicia. Love you already. So they're like a bunch of tapioca balls. How many do you think came out of me? 10? 20? 30? This is the one that the doctors were saying that's impossible. There's nothing coming out of anybody or whatever. They had to come to her clinic to not only experience it, but see it for themselves. Now I'm gonna share something very personal here. There's only 20 something people, so whatever. And I'm sure there's a troll here. Somebody's gonna try to use whatever, anything I say against me. Anyway, I went through a lot of trauma as a child. I've told you guys that I was highly unhappy and suicidal. And as you all know, I tried to take my life many times. I'm not proud of it, okay, by the way. I don't even like to talk about it, but I share it because I think it's important. Otherwise, I just gladly keep my mouth shut. Because I'm ashamed of it. I don't like what I did. And I'm the kind of guy that if I want to do something, I want to do it right, and I want it to be the right way. That's why I do these type of things. Like you could say I'm extreme, but I'm a passionate guy, okay? So, because I've tried poisoning myself so many times, I got tired of not dying. Like, God almighty, right? Can't even do this right. So I lined up these bottles. Oh God, even thinking about it makes me kind of sick. A lot of pills. Because I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a bunch of pills and I'll finally die and I'll do it around midnight or 1 in the morning. Nobody will find me. And I must have swallowed at least, I did 836 pills was my count. I know that's a lot too. I mean, I was handful and handful and handful. It was a lot of pills because it was overkill because I didn't want to survive this. And it just went crazy. I mean, I was like finishing everything. And I was doing it with alcohol because the bottles always say don't take with alcohol. So I thought, oh, okay, perfect. I'll do exactly what they tell me not to do. And so I didn't die, clearly. Doctors do think it was a miracle. I mean, that's what I was told. They're like, they literally said it was impossible that you could survive such an event. Just not even close to being possible. Well, that cleanse, those emotions came up. Visions came up. Tears came out. God, I'm gonna start crying right now. All right. Yeah, I regret it, guys. I regret it. You shouldn't do that to yourself. Anyway, you shouldn't do anything like that to others either, you know? Anyway, what came out of my body was so many of these things. So many. Hundreds. I mean, you just couldn't believe it. I think that a lot of them, maybe not all of them, I think a lot of them were my body. My body held on to those pills. My body's found a way to save me. It found a way to save my life. I don't think they were good for me. And yeah, they came out and felt really good, you know? But yeah, you know, we all go through stuff, guys. I never just think, oh, it's just me or whatever. Everybody goes through stuff. People hurt people. And it's just so sad that people do that. And it really, really does bother me. It bothers me, yeah. I don't like when people hurt people. You know, I only want the best for others. And I do wish that the world could understand such simple things. Because it is a simple thing. Like I said, when Jesus was asked, what is your greatest of all your teachings? He didn't say, the greatest teaching is to accept me as your Lord and Savior and go give 10% to the church. No, he said the greatest is to love one another, you know, as I have loved you, that type of thing. I live by those words, guys. And not just to try to care about others, but even about myself. I gotta love me too, you know, and this is loving me. You know, this is the type of things that I do, to be kind to myself. So as this continued, hold on. Yeah, you know, it's been a long process, but anyway, I began to understand that the human body holds on to things. I began to understand what we eat matters. I began to understand how parasites and worms and these things affect my body, including viruses and bacteria. They're all working very differently. And they affect your mind. And your body, which is affected by such things, influences your emotions and even your heart. You know, purity is the way. Purity is the way. The most pure water, the most pure food, you know, all these things. And so after I went through that, I came back again, and I continued to cleanse. I reached day 10 when it's supposed to be over. I was getting so emotional. Oh, all these things. I felt like I don't know. I felt like a child in a lot of ways. A child that is innocent and wants kids want, at least I did. I always wanted good things for others. I've always cared, but it's hard to explain. Point is, I just didn't feel like I was ready. And I told a lady, I'll share you guys the information. Maybe I'll do a video about her place in Hawaii. And it's a real special cleanse. It's not just one colonic or two. She's got this whole thing perfectly laid out. It's food, certain cleanses, like she's got it just laid out. And again, it's not cheap. Thousands and thousands of dollars just to fly there, get a house there, pay for the whole thing. The whole thing. I'll share that with you guys. Maybe I'll do a video about it. Ray, can you believe this guy? Ray, dude, your videos are too long. Ray, I'm not trying to upset you, but I mean, you don't have to watch it all, brother. You know, I got many videos that are shorter. I don't know what to tell you. Should I just stop my video now just because it's too long? I'm just being a person here and I'm just talking to you guys, you know, in a real way. So I'm sorry if it disappoints you. Hopefully nobody else, if everybody else feels that way, I don't have to make them long either, by the way. I could just do it and I could just move on, you know. Anyway, so this one's for you, Northern Yeti. So the woman said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna tell you this. The woman said, let's do one more day. So I went in for the 11th day. And remember, she told me to keep a journal of everything. And this is the one that I'm so, I don't know, embarrassed or cautious. I don't know if I should share it. But I went in for the 11th day. Boy. Thank you, Wolfgang. I went in for the 11th day, And after that, a little more stuff come out. Maybe I should read some of your comments here. No, I'm going to lose track. I'll just keep going. So I'm all done, and then I go home, and finally she's like, okay, you're cleansed. Go back to living your life and try to live better. Try to eat better. Try to drink the cleanest water. You know, this is how a lot of my process started. The funny thing is that I went home and had this just outrageously magnificent salad. All sorts of great stuff on it. Nothing bad in it. I didn't want to put meat into my body anymore. There are certain things I just didn't want to put in my body anymore because of the risk of parasites and worms, because I knew what they had done to me. And I didn't want to have that ever again. I wanted to feel free, you know, the way that I felt. Well, this is where things got really weird. Here it comes, Northern Yeti. I'm going to sound like a complete moron. I'm going to sound worse than a moron. I'm going to sound like a crazy moron, but this one's for you, brother. So I sit down and I start eating. And probably within, Lisa says, we all have our traumas. Thank you for sharing. We love all you are doing for so many. Thank you, by the way. Thanks, by the way. I really do appreciate the kind comments. Here I'm going through something emotional, and there's some guy saying, hey, dude, hurry it up. You're right, it wasn't too long. So I'm sorry if I reacted the way that I did, but, you know, I'm trying to open up here. So that doesn't help. As I'm eating my meal, guys, God, how do I even put this into words? Let's just say that a magical being made of light appeared right before me. I'll explain more. KJDF, whatever 9210 says, hi, sorry, I'm Karen, not a troll, love your videos. You put one drop in the water, but I couldn't see the label. What was it? Did we not already go over this? Go to YouTube and type in how to mineralize distilled water, and I show exactly what it is, and there's links to it. I hope that helps, because otherwise I'm going to just show you this, and I think I'm in the middle of the story. So this being of light appears, and yeah, the vision of the being. Man, you know what, I didn't even get a chance to think. You know, it's funny. I'm not a kind of, I usually think before I speak. Once in a while, I'll just get a little crazy and talk about whatever. But when that being of light appeared, I didn't even get a chance to say a word, because it came straight out of my heart, completely unfiltered, no filter. I didn't even, like I said, I never even got a chance to go through my brain. It was just like a question that just, boom, came out, and I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? And here's where I'm showing something kind of personal. Actually, it's very personal. When I was a kid, I told you guys, something happened to me. I don't need to go into the details right now. I will say that it was nothing that a human did to me. So some people are like, oh, were you abused? Were you beat? Were you whatever? Touched inappropriately? No, it wasn't anything like that. It was something that doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense because I don't think it happens to people, especially children. But this event of childhood, which is a whole other story in itself, is when the trauma began. And it was so painful that's why I wanted to end my life. It was just too painful. I couldn't carry it. It was too much. And I believe it'd be too much for anybody. I don't think that it is possible, actually. And so I would pray all the time. As a child, I would pray and I would ask for help to liberate me of the pain, of the suffering, because it was making me miserable. And to a level that I think is truly hard to comprehend. And so when I would pray, I felt like I got no response. Nothing ever showed up. to help me. And I quit believing in God. You know, I went to church. I tried all the different things, guys. I went to so many different churches, so many different religions, hoping that one of them would have an answer for my pain. And they never did. I was kind of like the canary in the coal mine. I knew that if I could find the answer that I would know it's real, because I couldn't fake my happiness. I just couldn't. I'm not actually very good at faking things, actually, just to be quite honest with you. I'm not very good at faking stuff. Anyway, so when the being of light appeared, I don't know if anybody can guess what the question is that just flew out of me without me even getting to think about it. But the question that flew out was, where were you? I prayed to you. I suffered immensely. I poisoned myself repeatedly. I tried to kill myself. And you're appearing now? Way too late. Where the hell were you? Where were you this whole freaking time? I didn't even believe in you anymore. And now you show up? I was so pissed. You know, I remember feeling, it was really weird. It's embarrassing, but this is the truth. I felt like, you better have a good answer. I felt almost entitled. I'm like, you better have a good answer, because I don't believe there's anything you can tell me. Anything you can tell me that will change my opinion about this. You know, I just don't think that there's anything you could tell me that would make this right. I was pissed. And I was pissed because I was hurt. Man, I was a kid. I was a child all alone, by the way. Nobody understood. Nobody to truly help me. People tried. I mean, my mother loves me, and she tried. And numerous people tried. Nothing worked. You know what the being's answer was? It's like a beautiful angel of light or whatever. And oh boy, was it the perfect answer. I was so ashamed. The answer was, and I'll just quote it because I can only say it the way that he said it, but he said, first of all, he showed me a vision actually before he spoke. He showed me the vision of when I was a child. He literally showed me praying, asking for his guidance and help, and me being in pain and suffering. And he showed me that he was there. He showed me that he was there watching over me the whole time. And I'm still wondering, like, why couldn't you say anything? Why couldn't you help me instead of just watching? It's like watching your child get run over by a car and just watching it happen, or watching them get beat up. Like, why? Why won't you step in and do something about it? And then that's when he told me. He said, had I interfered, you would have never found me. Oh, you know, he didn't just say those words. He showed me what it's interesting the way that he communicates, because it's visions, it's emotions, it's way beyond words. And I just knew that he was right the moment he showed me. All my anger, everything that I was upset about, all my entitlement, it all just vanished within a second. In fact, my tail went between my legs type of thing. Because I knew he was right. He's the one who put the fire in me. And that's why I have that fire in me. That's why I love the way that I do. You know. You know, crazy part is that was just the beginning. Because after that, of all the things that he could have said, tells me a Bible verse of all the things. A Bible verse? Oh. And I didn't understand why he was telling me that. And he wanted me to go grab the Bible because I remember being like, what's in that book? Because I tried reading it when I was younger. It never made any sense to me. And he was telling me this thing, and I thought, there's no way this is in the book. So I did. It's funny, that rental house had a Bible in it. So I go and grab it, and he has me open up to this verse, and I still remember it to this day. I always remember everything he's ever shown me and told me, because he started communicating with me more. After that, guys, that's the reason that I want to keep my body so clean, because the cleaner you are, it seems the better way he can communicate with us. That's the reason that the present evil in the world wants to pollute the body so much. Pollute the water, pollute the air, pollute the food, pollute your medicine, pollute everything. Because the more that the body is polluted, you lose connection to source. You lose your way. You lose part of yourself. And then you're lost. And that's why the ancient scriptures say, I was once lost and now I am found. Because we do get lost. And it's so rampant right now. It's like I've never seen it before, ever. Anyway, so I grabbed the book and I open up to the page, and the verse, as I read the verse, it's like speaking to me. And the verse, I've never seen the book like this before. The words on the book literally came off the book like with light. And as I was doing that, he explained to me, not with words though, it's like in my heart. He told me what the words meant. And I'm really sorry to I'm not trying to put anybody down, but humans don't understand the Bible. They don't understand the ancient scriptures because they were never intended for man to really try to decipher. I'll explain later because he explained all this. And the verse said, the path to death is the wide gate. It is the easy path, and many shall walk it. But the path to life is the narrow gate. It is the difficult path. And at the very end, as I read the very last words, which I'm going to share with you, he spoke to me in sequence with the words to help me understand. And the very last words were, and few shall find it. And as I read that, he whispered in my ear and said, this is what you're finding. And that's why I've always had to go my own way. Because the narrow gate, if there's only very few, I don't like to say that the world is wrong. But when I look at the world, I tend to see that the majority of people are. And that's okay though. See, I don't judge them for it. They're just lost. How can you be right about something if you're lost? You don't even know the way. You don't know your way. You don't know. And after that, he began to, I don't know why he does it this way, but every day I would get between 1 and 3 scriptural verses with the true meaning of what they mean. The true meaning. They're not what we are being told. I remember one time he told me, I could go on and on. I got a whole book inside of me. He put a book in me. I got just so much stuff about this. But see, Northern Yeti, I dare not share things like this. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to leave this video up, because, I just wanted to help people with something as basic as their health. So much suffering, and I would hope that as they continue to improve their health, they can cleanse their body or cleanse their temple more. That will lead to bigger and better things, but it isn't the easy path. It's definitely not the easy path. The easy path is, again, the wide gate, adhering to this world and eating whatever and just not caring enough, The path that I embark on is, everybody I know says it's hard. Everybody. Everybody I know says, dude, how do you keep up this pace? They just can't understand it. Even my own father recently told me, he said, I could never do what you do. Because I always want himself to treat himself better, you know. I want the best for him. He said, I just can't do what you do. But you know, if you care enough, you know, there's nothing special. There's nothing special about me, guys. It's just that I care. That's all. I mean, really, that's what it really comes down to. How much do you care? You know, then again, he also told me, he told me some things. I don't know how much more I should share, but he told me some. Apparently, I was so pissed about all this, and he he showed me that I had volunteered for this. I apparently volunteered. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? I don't remember volunteering for this. Well, that's before I chose to come down to Earth. Because there is a whole other world. There is this whole other world, guys. Oh, it's real. And we all have our journeys too. So I don't ever pretend to think that everybody's got to do the same thing. We all have our path, you know. And apparently I chose a tough one. It had to happen the way that it did, he said. In fact, you know what he told me? I remember this now too. He said, I was like, don't you realize I could have died? I could have died. And he said it was worth the risk. God, I can't believe that. It was worth the risk. How important is this? He said it was worth the risk. He knew that that was a possibility. I can't believe I am alive. I tried to end my life so many times. Yeah, he started teaching me. That's what happened. You know, he started teaching me. You know, it's funny. I forgot to share this part of the story. I've had some very strange things like this happen throughout my life. And sometimes I'd forget the exact date that these things would happen. So on this particular date, I vowed that I would never forget the day. Of course, I'd always remember the moments. So I looked at the calendar. Anybody want to guess what date this happened? And I'm not even kidding you. This is exactly what happened. For people who don't know my personality, I'm terrible with dates. I don't remember birthdays. I'm not very good. I'm not very good at remembering things as far as dates are concerned. Oh my God, Diane just guessed it. I looked at the calendar and it was November 11th of 2011. I called that my 11-11-11 day. It was November. It was 11-11-11. It was November 11th of 2011, which made it very easy to remember. I was like, oh, that's going to be easy to remember. And then I just thought, what time is it? So I looked at the clock, and it was 1:11 p.m. I didn't even, just so you guys know, I didn't even know what 11-11 meant. I didn't find out till many years later that people kept telling me things like, oh, dude, that's a super special number. I had no idea. All I remember thinking was, it'll be easy to remember. November 11th of 2011 at 1:11 p.m. And ever since then, he's been downloading a book into me for years. Every day between 1 and 3 teachings. And most of them are in ancient scriptures. He's been telling us for thousands of years. Oh, I've always been quite hesitant. I mean, you can imagine why. right? I hope people can understand why it would make me sound crazy. Hence the reason I don't like to share these things. It's emotional too. Maybe I should read some of your guys' comments here. Calm down before I keep crying here. Wolfgang says, we love you, Hydrogen Man. Thanks. Ditto, says Elizabeth. Lisa says, we all have our traumas. Thank you for sharing. We love all you are doing for so many. Well, that's right. Karen said, hi, I'm Karen, not a troll. Thanks, Karen. Wolfgang says, the vision of the being. Got it. Thanks, Elizabeth. Rich says, wow. Northern Yeti says, wow, incredible. Thank you for sharing. I think we all need a cleanse. I couldn't agree with you more, Northern Yeti. I know we all need it. Everybody should really be walking in that kind of light. Like the 144,000. Maybe you guys understand now why I call the channel Uprising 144K. The 144,000 were the ones who were walking in light. They were all dressed in white robes, as they say. A symbolism of purity and light. Except for one, by the way. There was only one who did not have a white robe. He had a red robe. And the red robe is symbolic, in my opinion, for sacrifice. Sometimes we make certain sacrifices for the greater good. Diane McKenzie says, much love to you, Greg. Thank you. Elizabeth says, I wish I could give you a big hug. Boy, I probably did need it, but thank you for that. This is good, guys. I I appreciate your positive comments. Few shall find it gave me goosebumps. That was the one. The moment I read that, he whispered in my ear, and that's what you're finding. And those words jumped off the page in light. Kind of like the color of the sun. It's kind of hard to explain. Terry says, thank you for sharing. Lisa sends some hearts. Cecilia Winter says, amazing. Thanks for the boldness to share your story. More embarrassed than anything. Lisa, couldn't agree more. Such a beautiful story, Greg. Burr says, it's been 1 year since I tried very similar to you, and finding your channel has been a blessing. Yeah, don't ever try that again, Burr. If you ever feel that way, you can always email me. I am always here if you need it, so keep my email on hand. You can also send a phone number. If I can call, I will. But don't ever do it. You will regret it till the end of your days. And you will just end up, most likely, you just end up making it worse, is the problem. Diane says 11:11. Oh, that's right. Oh my God, says Diane. There's no coincidences. I found you. Wolfgang says synchronicity. Terry C says much love and thank you, Greg. And Karen here says, I'm back. Just went to search and save your video 87 distillation video. Well, very good, guys. So now I hope Northern Yeti, you can understand. And I have even more stories than that one that have happened to me. But that was part of this whole anti-parasitic lifestyle, which I'm living in. Yeah, the video's long. Sorry, Rob, if you're still there. I doubt you're still there, but it's not easy for me to talk about it, so I just couldn't rush through it. And here, let me grab some more smoothie. Hold on. Whew. Northern Yeti. This definitely puts some of the pieces together. I know I feel different since starting hydrogen and giving up animal product. Yeah, hydrogen also helps, it appears to help keep the blood cleaner, keep the body functioning where it should be to cleanse. Because the body adapts to everything we're putting in it and it's throwing it out of balance. And one of the biggest reasons that I eliminated the animal product was because the stories that Jesus shared in this book, which I actually lived, he talked about that cleanse. And then something else happened to me, which I haven't shared really in full detail yet. And it's wild, guys. It's more wild than the story I just told you. It is the most wild thing that has ever happened to me. And it's in this book too. And it made me trust the words of what's in here more. And Jesus in this book says, you become what you eat. If you eat death, like a cooked dead animal, he says you will become that. And he talks about the parasites and how they overtake the mind and the body. He even gets this huge worm out of somebody in this book. And all these things which maybe sound like nonsense, really, truly sound like nonsense. But it's hard for me to deny it because I've lived through so much of it and experienced it. And I just, especially the last pages, the ones that I know nobody will, you can't understand them unless I explain them to you or unless you've actually been there. And it's because it's another world. And Jesus even spoke about it in the normal Bible. When he was talking to Nicodemus, he said, if you don't believe me in the things that I tell you of this world, he's talking about the world of the flesh, the physical, this world. He said, how are you to believe me when I tell you of things of the other world? I've seen that other place, you know, it's real. And anyway, it's really all out there. There's so much to learn. I hate to even say that I have so much to teach because I don't want to right now. You know, I need to walk I need to continue to do what I need to do, you know. I'm not sure I'm ready to be any type of teacher. I don't think I am. Not yet. So anyway, okay, let's see. Amy Renee says, thank you for sharing. Lisa says, that's what I guessed, 11, 11, 11. I know. By the way, I didn't even plan that. Like, not even planned at all. I don't really plan things like that. And it was on the 11th day of the cleanse. Remember, it was supposed to be a 10-day thing. She went 11 days on November 11th of 2011 at 1:11 p.m. My God. I couldn't have planned such a thing. And none of it ever entered my mind. Booking tickets and getting started and when it all worked out. I mean, just now that I'm thinking back on it, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Even if you tried to plan it like that. Can't go back to 2011. Weird. Anyway, Northern Yeti says, just hope I can stick with it. The biggest thing is, Northern Yeti, if you ever feel like you need something, I mean, you can always have an egg. You can always have, well, an egg or eggs. You know, it's not like I never eat an egg. I don't eat it very often, but once in a while I'll have an egg. Once in a while I'll even have a little fish, which I know I shouldn't. But I have friends and family who are big time into fishing. And so like once a year, I'll have this big old salad and they cook up this fish and like, come on, dude, join us. And so I have a little fish. But I do regular dewormings and cleanses, so. But still, anyway. Let's see. What's next? Northern Yeti. Yeah. Just make sure you get your nutrients, man. That's the hardest thing as a vegetarian. Terry says, amazing story. Lisa says, nope, not crazy. Thank you. I have no idea what that means to me. It's the one thing I don't need to be labeled as because I'm already a goofball. I am a goofball. Okay, Elizabeth says, we have a lot in common. I can identify with your story. Diane McKenzie says, it's true. They cause depression, anxiety. Yeah, they mess with your physiology. The parasites, the worms, they'll literally make your body want things that they want, not that you want, you know, and they influence you. And remember when Jesus said something like, lead us not into temptation? Well, that seems to be part of what they do. They really do tempt you. Alicia says, thank you for sharing, Greg. I came here so late. I missed all the talking about the cleanse and how you prepared for it. I hope you don't erase this video. I'll try to leave it up for a while. A little, I don't know. Sometimes I change my mind and boom, I just delete it. But I'll try to leave it up for I mean, this is embarrassing. You know. Let's see. Terry C says, I've been reading that book. Yeah, like a lot of books. I mean, I hope you can understand the deeper things that it says. Rich Savage says, sorry, must go walk my dog. It's all good, dude. Go for it. Have a good walk. I love dogs. Terry C says, thank you so much. You have given me hope, Greg. So grateful. Oh, you're welcome. Elizabeth says, what is the name of the book? Well, it's called The Essene Gospel of Peace. You can see the cover, and if you notice the top corner, look at the price. $1. The guy who translated it, he didn't write it, he translated it. That's funny, it was a little bit like that. Anyway, these are ancient books. They're from the Dead Sea Scrolls. And he translated all these things that he found. There's so much more, by the way. I have a whole collection of them, but this was the best one. And this is the one that has the information that I experienced. I mean, look, I can show you if you guys really want. See all my books here. It's a little much, but see, they have another one, the Essene Jesus. They have the Essene Gospel of Peace, book 3. More translations of ancient scrolls. Because see, after I read that first one, From Enoch to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Essene communion with the infinite. That's some of the experiences that I've had. There is an infinite out there. It's real. But I just don't know how many people will be, you know, it's funny. I just don't think most people will get to experience it, which is sad and too bad. But part of it is what it takes to get there. The level of suffering, I just think it breaks you before you can get close to achieving it. I just happened to get lucky, literally lucky. There's so many times I could have died. I got so lucky. I don't expect people to experience the things that I have. And of course I'm grateful for them, but the price that you'd have to pay, you literally may never make it. But we can learn from other people's experiences. This is let's see, book 4, The Teachings of the Elect. The Essene Gospel of Peace, part 2. So anyway, there's a whole collection, and I went out and got everything because that's how much this impacted me. And then of course, this is just, everybody knows this one. Pretty big book. I only have that for when, I don't even read it. Only when Spirit tells me to go look at a verse. Otherwise, I don't read it because it makes no sense to me. That was one of the things he told me. He told me that the books were not really intended for man to decipher. And there's actually a verse in Scripture that talks about it. He showed me that verse too. And it's hard to understand it unless somebody's teaching it to you. And when he reveals the truth of certain things in the book, it all makes perfect sense. But it's hard for anybody to really, I mean, borderline impossible to figure it out without his help, really. Like going through a maze and not knowing your way. Okay, let's just see here. Well, what is the name of the book? Thank you much. Okay, RW says 1111 is a wake-up call, inviting you to tune into the realms of the spirits and experience beyond the veil of illusion. Thank you for sharing. I guess, you know. Alicia says, see, I never really, well, anyway, Alicia,
the Seen Gospel of Peace. So yeah, she was answering for her. Elizabeth Donda says, I can't see the cover title. Can we already go through this? The Seen Gospel of Peace. I think somebody already wrote it there. So it's there. Sunshine says, uh-oh, got here late. I guess you can rewind if I can have the courage to leave this video up. This is usually just for the live audience, which obviously there's not a ton of them. Leave it up for a couple hours, just for us super fans. All right. Terry C., the audiobook is on YouTube. Oh, look at that. Amy says, you stated you had problems walking and the hydrogen water helped. Was this before or after the cleanse in Hawaii? I'm having problems with movement now. Yeah, let's see, 2011, let me think here. I don't think I had found hydrogen yet, actually. I was already reading about it. If I had tried it, it was very little just yet. And I was having a very hard time walking. So what would happen with me is I would have spurts of 6 to 8 months where I couldn't walk. And then I was able to walk again and I mean, not very well, but I could walk very uncomfortably, sometimes for months until boom, it would happen again. And then I would end up being another 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So it was kind of off and on like that. That was part of the reason that I went to the cleanse, hoping that the cleanse would help me heal. And it helped in many ways, but it didn't, it did not fix all my problems. I still needed a lot of help. It was just kind of like the beginning. And then after that is when I really started trying to make a lot of changes in my life as far as the way that I treated myself. Then I found hydrogen. In fact, that's an interesting point that you're bringing that up. That's when it really, really took off, actually. It was after 11/11. See, I didn't even think about this. It was right around that time. See, that's why I don't remember the dates real well. But it happened around that time, and more healing began, as time went on. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Terry says, I'm suffering similar conditions to you. Was Greg, that is why you have given me hope. And I'm sorry to hear that too, Terry. If I make the videos trying to help. If you guys need to contact me, you can. Sunshine, aka Shannon Holland, enlightened to you by spirit. Not sure, okay. JMU Breder, check out the Urantia book. It's pretty amazing. I think you would like it. It's deep. Elizabeth Dondis. Honestly, I don't even like reading any books anymore. I read these originally because I was intrigued, and there's information in there on how to help the body heal. The only times I ever go back to these books is if I'm guided to them. Beyond that, anyway, I used to read a lot, and something changed ever since I went to, which I won't talk about today because I'm just not going to talk anymore about this. This is enough for today. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Breder. Elizabeth Donta says, you didn't get lucky. God showed up. Yeah. Yeah, it's my skeptic mind always working there. Such a skeptic. Wolfgang, what do you think of Sheila Jit? I think it's all right. I think it's overrated. I mean, it's great and all, but I think it's been, it's all right. I've used it before. I have a whole bottle of it. I have a bottle. I have a special condensed version of it. It's not necessary, really, in my opinion. It's cool stuff, but you can use it if you want to. I don't use it regularly at all. This is one thing I'm actually doing right now. I can't tell you guys what it is because I don't have free speech. But it does not start with an I. And there is a specific protocol that I created from that. You know, always trying to keep the body as clean as possible is my goal. Always trying to keep that connection. Because I don't ever want to lose it. I feel so empty without it. Well, okay, guys. I don't know. That was it. Super fan. Super, you know, anti-parasitic lifestyle. That's why I do it. And that was a lot. That was sorry, that one guy, I think his name was Roy. Sorry for the long version, dude. It took 2 hours, huh? But that's the real explanation, the real truth about why I do what I do, and how I've created a lot of my methods. Yeah. Northern Yeti says, thanks again, Greg. Yeah, you're welcome, brother. Thanks for... I'm glad you showed up today, because if you wouldn't have shown up today, I know Seeking and Being's missing it. I know she really wanted to. I think Ocean's 11, too. Missed it. I'll have to leave this up for them. Lisa Stinson says, your best video yet. Oh, really? Terry C says, great shot. Well, thank you, guys. I sincerely appreciate your positive feedback and stuff. Thanks. It says sunshine, many different hearts, the rainbow. Yeah, one of these days, guys, I have, one of these days I hope to have actually something way better than this story. This is more of a, what you might even call an origin story. There is hopefully more to come that will be, you know, yeah, that'd be good for people to know. I'm working on it, you know. One of the things that the book says, you won't believe who's trying to call me. Ah, another scammer. You know, these scammers, when they call, I tell them, I'm like, do you even know what you're doing, man? Like, you're hurting people. You're trying to steal from people. Like, do you have any idea what you're doing to your own soul? And then they flip out. They start cussing at me and calling me all sorts of F words and SH words, and it's unbelievable. It really does truly sadden me so much. Anyway. Alice says, lately I keep getting on here when you're near finishing. I'll watch the replay. RW says, thanks for sharing. Terry C says, sound is cut and it's back now. Yeah, I was answering that phone call from these scammers who wish to steal and deceive and hurt people. All right, keep shining your light, Greg, says Terry. Yeah, I think this video is long enough, guys. As that one guy said, it's probably too long, but I just couldn't rush through this one. Sunshine says, wow, especially concerning since we reap what we sow. Oh my, well, that's, you know what? It's exactly true. There's so many other things that I've been shown, and that is, Wolfgang says, namaste. And Alice says, scammers suck. One convinced my 91-year-old dad to give his social security number a few years ago. Yeah, I know. Once you see what you're really doing, this is why Jesus really put it best. When he was getting beaten, he was actually praying for their forgiveness. And when he was praying, he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You know, and that's the biggest, I mean, I've now seen it. It's different when you're told as compared to when you actually like live it and see it yourself. And when I saw it, what we do and how it affects not just others, but ourselves. And it is not forgotten in this lifetime, it's carried to the next, and it just continues. And I just feel bad what humanity is doing right now, because the level of pain that we're creating on a daily basis is just unbelievable. I just don't know what to do with it anymore, other than just try to be patient and wait for the right time, because something's going to change. I know it, but it's going to take time. Terry C says, not too long. That guy has got a problem. Don't let him ruin it for the rest of us. Yeah. And Sunshine says, yes, they know not what they do. When you see it, it grieves you. When you see others sowing so badly. Oh, yeah, because we're all connected in the end too. It just hurts every day. But that's, by the way, that's what happened to me as a child. When I started understanding the pain of people, the world, and these things, which I began to understand at a very young age, it just hurt me so much. It hurt so much. That level of pain is exactly what wanted me to end my life, because I could feel it. It wasn't just in my head. I could feel it in my heart and my soul, in my body, and it was crushing me. I was supposed to be a happy little kid, and I was right before that moment. Right before that moment, I was extremely happy. I loved to smile at people. I was such a joyful kid. I really, truly was. And then just one day, it all flipped. And yeah, I confused, of course, my parents, especially my mother. You know, she just couldn't understand what happened to me. Because, like I said, it wasn't that I was abused or anything. There is a story to it, but, I won't share that one today. Okay. Can you share the place in Hawaii to cleanse? That's right. I got to share that. I will make a video about it for you guys. Cleansing 11/11/11 day in Hawaii. The name of the place. I'll get the phone number. I'll get the email. I'll do all that stuff so you guys can all have it. It seems like things flipped for my son too, and I was so grieved and love him so, says Sunshine. The problem is that you're going to run only two directions, maybe three. One, you can distract yourself in this world. So you go get a good job, you make a lot of money, you buy a fancy car, you get fancy clothes, you date some really great guy or girl. You distract yourself with life. But it'll always be there, but you can hide from it. That's one choice. The second choice is you can really try to drown your sorrows. You might become an addict. You might drink too much. You might smoke too much. Do all sorts of things that to try to drown, and that's a dangerous road, because the road to addiction and no good. Trying to drown that pain away. The third choice, which is probably the one, gosh, it's hard for me to say whether I do or don't recommend it, because it's a choice that I made, and it's probably the hardest one, and that's to go after it, not half-heartedly, not three-quarters. Like, there's a verse in scripture that says, if you are lukewarm, I will spit you out. It's like, you got to be all in. And that's a really difficult place to be, because you have to live in this world. And if there's a reason that I really don't own things. I don't own a house. Yeah, I own an old beat up $1,000 car. I don't own things of great value. I want to actually have less things. The more I have, the more it weighs me down. I have, water distiller, actually here you can see it. Look at it. It's all making my beautiful clean water ever so slowly and diligently. I love those little things. And my hydrogen generator making super nice clean hydrogen for me. Little things like that, but I don't own big stuff. And yeah, I think that the last road is the hardest one, but that's the only one that will, hopefully you can find what you're looking for. And the problem is, if you don't, it can just get really messy. So I don't know if I suggest that to everybody, but for me, it was almost like there was no other way. But I'll tell you, I was this close to choosing a different path. And that's another story, because I had something else happen to me too. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. Not fun though. Some people are like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. I wish I could experience that. Yeah. It has not been a fun road at all. Extremely painful. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes you got to crack before the light will shine through, you know? Okay, guys, I think I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Thanks for all the thumbs up. I saw that you guys did a lot of that. Appreciate it. You know, sharing and all that stuff. Oh my God, Seeking and Being made it. Hello, everyone. I'm just passing through. I'm working today. Oh, Seeking and Being, you missed it. This was a day for you and Northern Yeti and you guys who've been wanting to know for so long. I shared some of what I thought you wanted to know about and hear about. I'll try to leave the video up for you. And you actually emailed me. I was actually going to attempt to call you today. But watch this video. I think you'll find a lot of the answers of things that you were curious about. I'm glad you made it though. Isn't it funny? At the very beginning, I was like, okay, where's Seeking and Being? Where's Northern Yeti? I don't even know who you guys are. It's funny. All right. Very good. And I'm sorry for calling you out the other day, Seeking and Being. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. If I did, there was a reason for it, but I didn't have any ill intentions. Okay. So with that being said, Sunshine says, very grateful. Thanks for leaving it up, at least for a while. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to leave stuff up where I'm a little too emotional like that. No worries at all, says Seeking and Being. Thank you for your forgiveness. Alice, is your interview with Alan Steinfeld here on YouTube? I don't know. When I do stuff with Alan, I don't know. Alan and I are going to talk again. We haven't even gotten into the real deep stuff yet. You know. Yeah, we haven't gotten into the deep stuff yet. Okay, I'll look around, thanks. I mean, he has a YouTube channel. I only assumed that it must be on YouTube. Yeah, well, he wants to do some more stuff. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, thank you all. Take care. See you, Seeking and Being. Yes, it's on YouTube, says Terry C. Oh, there you go. You got your question answered. Okay, guys, till next time. All right. Bye-bye, guys.